Alright guys, this is Ian from the Batman Batgirl here with another review. Sorry I've been gone for a little while, but I'm back. And I'm kicking it off with Batman Black and White. Now I know I haven't uploaded a review of the new Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode yet. I am sorry, that is coming very soon as I am able to get the other reviewers to chime in for a video. But I promise it will be up by tomorrow morning. I promise on that. Okay, so I'm going to review Batman Black and White, Issue 3, a collection of multiple stories. As we open up the cover with this one, very nice cover, we've got, quite creative, we've got Batman as you can see, but his bat symbol on his chest is an umbrella held by the Penguin. That's pretty neat. I like it. So, let's get started, shall we? Turn the page, and the first story in Batman Black and White is Rule Number 1, written by Lee Bermejo and lettered by Carlos M. Mongui. Also, Lee Bermejo also illustrated it. As you can see, it's a very nice, interesting artwork. It's basically about a kid, where we can assume it's one of the Robins, maybe Jason Todd, with the way he's acting, but that's just pure speculation. And, he's got talking about how, the big man, obviously Batman's got all these roles and he's supposed to go buy some drugs, and, it's part of a setup. Batman does them, and, it all turns out well. He almost breaks one of the rules, but he doesn't, and then it turns out he left the keys and a bike, which gets stolen. Kind of funny. Neat little fight scene. Funny little story. Then it talks about Lee Bermejo. So next we've got Damian Scott, who wrote and drew the next little Batman story, Hall of Mirrors, and it was lettered by DZ Cianti. We start off with, nice, very interesting artwork, basically Batman talking about, all the criminals that, he fights, and how, talking, why do I do this, what's going on, how do they make me feel, who are they? It's not really much of a short story, but it's got some nice, fun artwork, and that's totally worth the philosophical questions and answers. And then of course he says that because all I am is I am the Batman. But as I said, it's not really much story-wise, but it's a fun little fight scene between him and like a bunch of Gotham criminals, or Batman criminals, or whatever you want to say. And the next one is An Innocent Man, written by Marv Wolfman, lettered by Taylor Esposito, and the artist is Riccardo Burchielli. It starts off with, basically Gordon and Batman are talking about the man, and Gordon knows he's innocent. Batman is finding out he's innocent, and the guy releases information at the last second. Batman says he's innocent and all that, and he gets information at the last second that, an hour before, like 7 hours before, that the guy could be innocent, and that, he's got to go prove that the guy isn't guilty because he's about to get killed for it. However, he's been waiting on death's row for 5 years before giving up the secret information 7 hours beforehand. Yeah, so then of course at the very end, and Gordon says that he thinks that you'd rather that, you'd be just fine if he died because of this, and then as Joker, then you find out at the very end that this mystery man is Joker, and that this was all a plot because the guy was passing a law that was going to allow criminal, reoccurring, mentally unstable patients to be tried for murder, by normal standards, and to be put to death. So he had to destroy it, which of course, with how, turned out everyone thought he was guilty till the last second because of a vigilante's work, it would destroy the bill, and of course he caused the guy's murder. Good little story, nice artwork, and I think the artwork really excels in this black and white format, and I think it's one of the greater short stories in this black and white series to date. Maybe the best, in my opinion. Then we've got Nam Tab, Babel Comes to Gotham, by Ron Hughes. And it's a classic-esque Batman story, you know. You've got Alfred is writing a future tale, and you find out that the future tale is Batman and Robin have found out that these UFOs have been circling Gotham, have been spotted in Gotham. So Batman calls a friend of his from space that was last seen in Detective Comics issue 282 and Batman issue 142. Taldar is the guy's name, from the moon. And the guy's, you know, part of the space police, and they work together, and they find out this guy's, you know, his plan is he's, like, destroying reality with words and all that, confusion people, and it's a fun little story. Got the Batcave, is not really the Batcave, but exposition and a story layout. It's just, well, it's a fun story. It's, you know, there's not really much logic to it, and it's a bit confusing, but it's confusing in a way that's simple, and just it's a fun ride in comics that you don't get these days. And then the final one, definitely, okay, let me rephrase it. The final one is probably my favorite of the black and white stories so far, which isn't surprising. I mean, it's written by Paul Dini, so yeah, be prepared to love it. And the artist is Stephanie Rao. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. If you're watching this, ma'am, please correct me, because it's some good artwork. I'd love to say I love the artwork as well. And then lettered by Jared K. Fletcher. And then you find out that this little girl has been kidnapped like a bunch of other kids, but they've all escaped, been found unharmed. And Batman's going to find her. She has freed herself. Turns out he said that, oh, and he hit her, of course. And he said that he had found Batgirl, that he knew Batgirl. He was going to hook him up so she could see him. She fell for it. Obviously, he didn't. She's escaping. Batman's looking for her. She finds Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. And they decide that when they see she's hurt and the guy comes to, you know, kidnap her, take her back, they beat him up. And then Batman comes by and he's like, it's enough. And, you know, you criminals are done for, because, you know, they were about to break into a bank when all this happens. And then Poison Ivy puts some poison in him. He has to, of hemlock, and, you know, it's lethal. He has to use an antidote, which, of course, Batman has in his utility belt prepared. And they make off, and, you know, she's like, why are you so mad, man? Those ladies aren't bad. She's like, thank you. You know, it's a fun little story. And then, you know, he's like, not tonight. It's an amazing, fun little story. It's some great artwork from it, too. Right here. Like I said, she has some fantastic artwork. Wish I knew how to pronounce her name. So, overall, what would I rate this comic? Well, I'd rank it roughly an 8.5. It's a good story, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a good issue, but it's a bunch of little short stories, and I can't, you know, usually give it 100 for it, but a 10 for that. But each short story, I think, is its own rating, and that's really just an average if you compare them all together. I mean, yeah, one of them's amazing. You know, they're all great in their own individual right, and I love all of them in their own right, and I would highly recommend going out and start picking up the Batman Black and White series. It's fantastic. I loved it. Rated 8.5 out of 10. Until next time, this is Ian from Batman Batgirl. Have a good day.